Nikki.
Cheers, Jeannine.
How's it going?
It's going great. I can't wait to do this second episode. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Me too.
Thanks for being here with me and letting me be here with you. It's awesome. And thanks to everyone tuning in to our second online broadcast. Welcome. Grab your drink. Again, it's happy hour, so alcoholic, non-alcoholic, it's totally up to you. But join us for happy hour, where Jeannine and I have unscripted, uncensored conversations about what it's really like to work online, to be a busy mom, busy wife, and make it all come together. So it's pretty exciting. I think last time we just introduced ourselves and let everybody know a little bit about us. What do you think we should go deeper into today, Jeannine?
I think we should talk about maybe how life was before, kind of in comparison to what life looks like today. Because I think there is a really big contrast for both of us.
Great idea. And I can tell you my before and after is huge difference. And I'm sure yours is too. Why don't you start and let everybody know a little bit about, I don't know, maybe some of the pain points you had before in your life, some of the things. I mean, we don't change for no reason. So there must have been reasons that prompted the change. Why don't we start with that?
Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, I think there's a whole heck of a lot of pain wrapped up into how I got here today. So there's many pain points. But the biggest and the one of like that I've realized the most over the course of the last, I would say 6 months to the last year of my life is that I was looking for somewhere to fit. And that was my biggest thing. Where do I fit? You know, I think other people have projections of ourselves. I might project something on you the way I see you. You might do that for me. So I kind of just was trying to find, I was on this hunt to find where I fit. And it was getting really exhausting for me because at the end of the day, I wasn't fitting. And there was a reason for that because I wasn't meant to fit where I was trying to fit. And I think that, I don't know if you can relate to that, Nikki, but it was a battle for me because I'm like, why am I going against the grain? But I didn't know what grain I was really looking for. So
yeah. And I can relate to that, and I'm sure our listeners can too. And you know what else is, we're often hardest on ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned last time about struggling with being a hairdresser because for yourself, that wasn't what you wanted. Meanwhile, my hairdresser is the most amazing person in my life. And I realized during shutdown just how amazing she is and how much her services bring to my life. So, you know, we might look at ourselves and see whatever aspect that we don't like, our big thighs or our gray hair or our wrinkles, but other people look at us and they don't see that. So we're always hardest on ourselves. And I suspect that's what you were partially doing to yourself, and that's what I do to myself all the time.
Yeah, and I think women really do go through that, right? We want the best. We want the best for ourselves, for our families, but I think fulfillment is also really, really important, and purpose is really important to me. Success is really important to me. It always has been. It probably always will be. But I guess one of my biggest pain points was I was always in fast mode. Fast, everything, just go, go, go. And time was going by so fast. I was going by so quickly. I'd be shooting, working my butt off to the top. Okay, I might get a pay increase. I might be making more money this year, but it's at the cost of everything. My health, my family, my sanity. I felt so depleted and so exhausted that I was just like, there's no way that this is the life and purpose that is for me long-term, for my future. I want to build something meaningful. I want to be proud of what I do, but it can't take everything good away.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, I so hear you, because I think not just from my own experience, but from the women I know in my life and the men as well. And men don't talk about it typically as much because it seems to be okay in society that a man works 70 hours. and misses family functions and misses, it's
Yeah.
just, for some reason that's all right. But when a woman is missing, for some reason that's often, and then that's changing, but it's just different. And I think just women in general, and I'm generalizing a bit here, but women in general feel that that nesting, that pull, that mothering when they get married and have children, typically a little bit more than men do. And so when we're working long hours and trying to do it all, we just let it pile on and pile on and pile on until there's nothing left to give. And you're not alone there. I mean, I know so many women who have either been in that position and realized it and made a change, or who are still in that position and just thinking, is this it? Like, is this what I'm going to do until I either, you know, drop dead or retire or whatever? Like,
Totally.
So you were stressed at work, you were struggling. So talk a little bit more about like what that looked like maybe. And
okay, so well, I had found, I guess, the second career that I moved into, the one that I tried a bunch of stuff, but the one that I was really committed to, I really wanted, it was a sales position, and it was for a food service company. And I got a big territory. I got to be on the road, work with people. And I am a very big people person. So, you know, I was really excited. And I worked really hard to get that position. And that was my wake up call, to be honest. It was the crossroads for me of, it made me realize, okay, something's off, something isn't right, what's going on? And I had kind of talked a little bit when we did our first episode about just not fitting, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was just because it wasn't the right fit. And I needed to take time to deep dive, to really take a break. I had been in go mode my whole life, and I never took time for a breath. Yeah. And I was able to do that. And I'm so thankful I was able to take a second, a long second, and figure out, what is it that I really want? And it was that I had changed so much. I had to reevaluate my future, what I wanted. And I really wanted it to align with not just for today, but for tomorrow, right? For 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. The impacts that we make, if I keep doing the same thing for 10 years, where's it what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. I had to jump, and that was really scary. So that was kind of my journey. I had to jump, and eventually I had no choice but to do it, because that pull for more was so important to me.
And you know what? I think we change as well. I don't know about for you, but for me, I was always a very committed person to my career, committed to work, put in the extra hours. I had no problem when it was just me and my husband staying at my one HR job until 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, working on a newsletter for the next week. I enjoyed it. It was fine. He was fine at home. I was fine at work. There was no problem. We had plenty of time for each other, and I had plenty of time for work, and I found work fulfilling, and I found that social time fulfilling. And I wasn't really stressed back then. But then, you know, I wasn't intending on having children either. We weren't going to have children. That sort of changed when I hit, you know, my 30s and went, okay, if we're going to do this, we kind of have to do this. So then we were just going to have one. But then we had one, and we moved out to this place in the country. And I said to my husband, we can't do this to this poor kid. Like, we're not on the neighborhood block. Who's he going to play with? Who's he going to interact with? Like, we need to have another one. So we had a second child so that they could entertain each other. But my point is it wasn't long after that where work started to become a little less important. It wasn't that I wasn't still committed, but I didn't want to stay at work late and miss out on tucking my children in. I didn't want my husband to have to do everything or do bath time or whatever. And so whether it's children or something else, travel or sports or whatever, priorities change, right? Things change. And I think once we accept that life has changed, it doesn't mean we failed. Just because I didn't want to work 60 hours a week anymore
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm a failure. Just because I don't want to work and go to school at night to better myself doesn't mean I'm a failure. It just means I've changed the way I do things. And, you know, it sounds like you were in a very similar position. Things changed for you.
Yes.
And what was fulfilling before and what was driving you before and what was giving you that self-satisfaction was no longer creating that. And it almost starts to, like you say, be a pain point.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you, but I had a physical response to my stress. So I started getting, I carry it all up here. So I started getting backaches and neck pains and headaches and, you know, both at work and then at home. And I thought it was the chair I was sitting in or, you know, something I was doing. And I went for stress tests to see, because I was getting chest pains. Yeah. I mean, when you're getting close to 50 and you're getting chest pains and you're thinking, I'm going to have a heart attack. Yeah. And there goes my life. Like, that's scary. Well, there was nothing wrong with me. It was all stress related. Wow. And I know that now because of the changes I've made. It's gone, right? It's gone. Yeah. So I think it's really important for people, no matter what they're doing, to sit back and take some time and say, okay, what is fulfilling me and what isn't? And how can I make that change?
Sure. Absolutely.
For sure. So, anything else you want to add about that?
No, I want to hear a little bit more about how you got to this point.
Yeah, so it's very similar, very similar. Obviously, we have very different lives. We're at different points in our life, but very similar in that I left a position in human resources that I loved, working for people that I loved, not because so much of the people, because of the job.